My grandfather's favorite poem was the Rubaiyat by Omar Khayyam, and that'll be the epigraph at the beginning of this poem, called The Life Wore On. Awake, for morning in the bowl of night has flung the stone that puts the stars to flight, and lo, the hunter of the east has caught the Sultan's turret in a noose of light. July 1991. Just ran the hills in summer's heat. Runner's high and dehydration, salted skin, just enough to seed hallucination, while strong songs of insects distort through waves of heat, heard and felt through slowing heartbeat. Through this haze, I drive a lazy left turn exiting the parking lot onto Highway 130 and stall my car in the middle of the lane as a small red pickup comes around the bend, barreling into my driver's side door, buckling metal, seeing slow motion enough, bumper shape recognized, reaching my hip, prelude to a crushed spine, odd death. I blink reflexively and open my eyes to find that rhythmic insect buzz through heat distortion. My car stalled perpendicular to the lanes, but no red truck, no crushed door or spine, and wonder, as I start the engine, what is dream? July 1993. While filling my gas tank, I turn and notice that red pickup at another pump. No driver in sight, no hose in the tank. Maybe I am dead. These last 2 years actually exhausted milliseconds, reality finally breaching. But I'm on a mission to return my grandfather's ashes. So I decide I'm alive enough to begin the first leg of this ceremony, San Jose to Denver in 24 hours. You see, back in 1986, my grandfather's ashes were dumped in Lake Michigan instead of the northern Wisconsin lake he had requested. The lake where 2 years earlier we had spread my grandmother's ashes along the western shore, along the lily pads she adored. Grandpa passed away in November. His ashes would have to wait for a summer to be named later, but my selfish ex-stepmother claimed to have manipulated the exhausted caretakers into the Lake Michigan Compromise. With her selfish and sad wisdom, doesn't all water ultimately join with all other water? Jesus Christ, you could have flushed them! During the 24-hour no-sleep drive to Denver, I imagined elaborate rituals to recover his ashes. But when I finally arrive and park my car, a wave of doubt and exhaustion rolls me over. Why the hell is an atheist returning ashes that don't exist to fulfill the request of an atheist grandfather? I settle back in my seat, ready to collapse, with a sigh look in the rearview mirror to find my grandmother in the back seat, wearing my wool blanket like a shawl, her face angry and disappointed. I turn around to face her with shame and to confirm her feelings, to confirm her existence, but all I find is the wool blanket. I slowly turn back and look in the rearview mirror. She is no longer there, nor is my sleepiness or despair. So I roll my car downhill from Denver to Milwaukee. Lake Michigan, 3 days later. I'm sitting in my swim trunks in the shallow water of a beach near the pier where Grandpa was dumped. For all these hours, I've imagined elaborate rituals, grand choreography, and great prostrations to conjure his spirit into a noble vessel, and I'm pouring wet sand into a plastic jug. A little boy splashes next to me. He's got a red pail and a yellow shovel. He scoops some sand into the pail and turns and offers me his shovel. No thanks, friend. Though I only have a half-gallon of sand paw, to scoop any more might imply Grandpa was partly pulled into that bright red pail. Feeling like a complete idiot, I bid adieu to my new friend and scurry up the beach, avoiding all eye contact. 28 hours later, northern Wisconsin. Finally, I arrive at the lake, but the only resort that existed has become a private residence. I pull into the driveway and the owner comes out of the house immediately. He's eyeing me suspiciously. Frantic do I look. To assure him, I describe my time spent on the lake as a child, the owners of the resort, my parents, grandparents, siblings, but this brief exchange builds little trust. And I dare not mention the jug of Grandpa, Lake Michigan pollution, and probable little boy urine, followed by a jaunty request for a borrow a rowboat and dump all that in this pristine spring-fed lake. Though I have the urge to knock him down and steal a rowboat, I remember the old bar and bait shop on the other side of the lake and abruptly leave. After snaking through some 10 dead-end dirt roads, I begin to see sky through the trees. The building is abandoned, but parked alongside it, that red pickup. As I pull in and park, 2 Dobermans come running out, barking and circling my cars. Their uncropped ears, pierced and patterned from years of fighting in bramble, let light shine through like stars. Shit! Dogs of death in an evil pickup truck. I'm about to surrender, but remember, I'm dead. So I simply drift through the door, plant my feet in the gravel, and exhale. The first sound I hear is my heartbeat, followed by the subtle sound of a faint breeze caressing pine needles, nearly like a sigh. And no dogs, and no red truck. And yes, a living heartbeat, the rhythm and bass breathing with the treble of the wind. Shoes scuff old concrete steps as I carry Grandpa down to the lake. The sun and clouds dance as I lay on the pier, hands and arms dangling in the lake, Grandpa's sandy mound building slowly. Awake, for too many days have passed in rest. So imagination created this quest, and lo, the water and sky dance as light, the lovers bright, and finally abreast.